This is Saturday Morning Mysteries.
And we're your hosts, Alexis and Grace.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Saturday Morning Mysteries, where we're your hosts. I'm Grace.
And I'm Alexis.
And we're here with an episode from Alexis to wrap up our Thanksgiving/fall arc.
Mm-hmm.
We're mainly sad. I mean, we love this arc, but we're mainly sad because it probably means Thanksgiving is just a couple days away, which is our favorite holiday. And so we're already sad that that holiday is almost over.
Almost over. Almost approaching. I'm probably elbow deep in pie crust right now and sweet potato pie filling. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a sad time, but a happy time because then we'll get to move to our final arc, which will be winter/holiday/Christmas, the same nebulousness of this arc, but there's a lot more Christmas related episodes, but there's also a lot of snow episodes. So
yeah, winter
you have to wait.
Themed.
It's not for a week though. We're still in fall. We're still in the middle of fall here, you know?
Exactly.
Don't get those Christmas decorations until the day after Thanksgiving is my personal law.
Well, and I force others to also follow that law. It's not personal
You're
anymore.
A lawyer.
I literally
was that on the
wrote
bar
it
test?
into.
Was that on the bar exam? What is Grace's law?
That's the only reason why I passed the bar exam. That was the secret thing. All my friends were asking me, like, "Damn it, Alexis, how did you get that score?" I can't tell you my trick. He's like, write that in every essay. Yeah. Just write that into every essay. Like, you cannot put up Christmas decorations until the day after Thanksgiving. Even that, in my opinion, still a little too soon, but I mean,
that's like the earliest
that
I shall accept
as soon as you can do it. Exactly. Yes, fight me. Exactly. Go ahead. Literally fight me. Come find me and fight me. I dare you to
Don't say find me. Don't find her.
Find me, not Grace. No, you can try to find
dox
me.
us.
Yeah, no,
don't find
not
us.
You, not Grace, just me. I will fight someone on this matter. I'm happy to. No.
Well, with them fighting words, take us away on your next episode here.
Yes, and you're right. We're gonna enjoy this last week of the holiday of Thanksgiving, of our favorite holiday, by doing something very different for this podcast, actually. Not different in the sense of it's, a cartoon that doesn't really do with crime, but it's a classic cartoon.
Okay.
But it's one that we have never talked about. It's one that it's never even come up, I don't think, on this podcast, which is interesting.
Have I seen it?
Because it is, I don't know. To be fair, I don't think I had ever even seen this show before, but it's something that we're so familiar with. And you've probably seen something about it at some point in your life. But to say that you've watched this iteration of the show, I don't know, because I don't think I even did.
Iteration, interesting. Okay.
Yes, an iteration. Today, well, here, let's do this. We'll start out with a question.
Okay.
Grace, when you think of the phrase, the Pink Panther, do you think of Jacques Clouseau, or do you think of a hip and groovy feline? And yes, keep that theme music going in the background as I'm talking, because I feel like it's the perfect backdrop.
Because it's the theme song to the Pink Panther.
The Pink Panther.
So I actually do think of the actual Pink cartoon because my mom, Pam, loves the Pink Panther. So I grew up.
And she's going to love this episode.
Are we doing the Pink Panther?
Continue your thought. Finish your thought.
Oh, yeah, no. I'm just I grew up with like the actual like cartoon. There are multiple iterations of it. But yes, like the sleek, sly, cool, hip Panther. Yes, I fucking love him.
Yes. So I'm glad that you said that, because in my brain, when I think of Pink Panther, I also think of the sly, hip, cool, standing on two legs, pink feline, the panther. But the correct answer, of course, to that question would have been yes to either or both.
Yes.
You could think of either Jacques Clouseau or the hip and groovy feline, because as an umbrella term, as I learned, because I guess, I don't know if this was a Mandela effect thing for me, or if I just realized that I didn't know as much about the Pink Panther as I did growing up, or as I thought I did. Because as an umbrella term, and you probably already know this, but the Pink Panther, it's an overall media like franchise focusing
Oh,
on a series of mystery comedy movies from like starting in the 60s, starring the inept but I'll say tenacious French detective inspector Jacques Clouseau. And the
oh.
franchise was
I guess I
kicked
didn't
off
realize that he
originally.
was the franchise.
Exactly. So I was like, wait, Jacques Clouseau, because I always thought of him with the Pink Panther, but for
Wait,
some
can
reason
you
I
hold on
never
one
really,
second?
yeah,
Hold on. My dogs are making very weird noises
doggos.
downstairs. Boys,
Uh-oh.
hey, boys, come here. What are you
Oh.
doing? Sometimes when they wrestle, like one of them will make a little like, and I'm like, did someone get hurt?
Uh-oh, yeah. That's
But
like the
they're okay.
sign, the
Yeah,
little shriek
exactly. So
of
I
pain.
heard that noise. I needed to go check on them.
Yeah, you're like, boys, break it up out there.
Yes.
Someone's gonna
Okay.
get hurt.
I'm
So,
single parenting just
yeah,
like Scooby
it's
today.
rough out here. You have to prove it to Justin that you can live up to the job. You can
Got
do
easy. Compared to him,
it.
no problem. Okay, sorry, go on.
So, no, all good. So, the franchise, which kind of originally centered around Jacques Clouseau, this French inspector, it kicked off with a bunch of live action movies starting in 1963 with the film The Pink Panther.
Mm,
And the film got its name actually from like the subject of the movie, which was a pink diamond that has enormous size and
yes.
value. But at the middle of the diamond, if you're looking at it closely in the right light, it has a flaw that appears to resemble a leaping pink panther.
Hmm.
And so the diamond, like I said, it was at the center of the first movie and it came back in the fourth movie, named, of course, The Return of the Pink Panther. And so these movies were a pretty big hit, as you can probably tell by them there
Yeah.
being four of them, which in fact, since then, there have now been 11 live action movies going all the way to the year 2019 when it was rebooted with Steve Martin in like two movies.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
And the
remember
12th
like
one
when we were growing
apparently is in
up,
development. Yeah,
they
right. The
had
Steve
them.
Martin ones, which I don't
Yeah.
remember liking them that much, but I still remember like I remember the Pink Panther before Steve Martin, but I
Yes.
just it's like it was there, but it wasn't like really in my nebulous. Like I wasn't watching it or anything, but I was
Yeah.
aware of it. And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
I
yeah.
saw the Steve Martin ones and I was like, ah yeah, it's whatever. And maybe if I rewatch them, I would like them. I honestly don't know how they are. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember how they are. I
But
just remember the cartoon.
right. And the 12th one is apparently in development. I don't know if it's with Steve Martin or someone else. Like I think it's a reboot, so probably someone else. But
Oh,
anyways,
yeah.
it's no surprise that in the 60s when this movie first came out, the first Pink Panther, that it would be a big hit and would garner such an audience because, and I had to do a little extra research on this,
Oh, okay.
according to a 2014 article in Smithsonian Magazine by David Sears, detailing a 1964 jewel heist from the New York City American Museum of Natural History carried
Tell
out
me
by
more.
quote unquote Murph the Smurf, who
Fucking Murph.
I need to read more about Murph. I did not have enough time to read too deep into him. I read a bit about this crime, but I'm just going to give like highlights. And basically, I'm just going to do like a 2 paragraph excerpt directly from this article because it's a
Okay, I
good
can't wait.
read. Recommend
This is
people read
why,
it. It's, yeah.
sorry,
What was I?
I just had the huge revelation. I'm like, is this why I love heists? This is why I love museum
Because of the
heists?
Pink
Because I grew
Panther?
up on the cartoon of the
Because
Pink Panther?
originally it's all about a diamond heist, maybe.
Go on.
So, according to this article, and again, like 2 paragraph excerpt that I'm just going to directly quote here, the mid 1960s were salad days for jewel thievery. I'm guessing that means it was good days. Salad being green, maybe it's
Yeah, I
healthy,
think
it's good
like
for you.
easy
I've never heard that
peasy,
before. Easy peasy, sure.
plentiful.
Good eats, something plentiful, right?
They bought a lot of
So
salads with diamonds?
yeah, they
Sixties were
had good
crazy, man.
money and salads have always been expensive no matter what. So, no, in 1963, the same year that the Pink Panther movie came out, the very first one, when a US gym heist occurred on average every 32 seconds, according to this article, 32 seconds, crooks stole $41 million worth of insured precious and semi-precious stones. I should have done the inflation
I was
calculator
about to
on
say, was
that, but
that in
it doesn't
those
matter because
days?
even today, 41
Wow.
million is still a lot of money. So back
Wow.
then it was a whole lot
Incredible.
more. Cash aside, diamonds were the anonymous currency of a thriving seller's market. An estimated 3.5 million diamonds of 1/3 of a carat or more were being sold annually in the United States.
Whoa.
But that was well short of demand. Yeah, so like, whoa, but people wanted even more.
Oh, wanted more.
Abroad, jet set Europeans, Arabs, and Asians. I don't love how he just calls them Arabs, but whatever.
Yeah, how they were
2014
like
article,
these
I don't know.
two
Anyway,
giant
these
areas.
exactly. Anyways, all of these different ethnic groups around the country knew that jewels had their value and uncertain or held their value rather, excuse me, in uncertain times. Fungible good or non-fungible goods, I believe that is.
Mm.
Sorry, microeconomics. So to grease the gears of this emerging global economy, many seemingly legitimate jewel merchants did double duty as fences, meaning like they were kind of also, in
Oh my
addition
God.
to being like
Amazing.
the people selling these things, they
Yeah.
were also kind of like looking the other way when people were
Yep.
offering them things that clearly were not,
Yes,
legit or
absolutely.
like didn't seem seemly. So
Yeah.
they didn't ask any like dirty questions, any untidy questions, as the
No
author
follow-up.
writes. They routinely melted down precious metal settings into stable ingots, or sorry, salable ingots, which I probably should
Oh.
have looked up more of this terminology, but I think those are just like the actual like the shapes that kind of like you
Oh.
change original jewels from to maybe turn them into more
Okay, that makes sense.
like taking a big diamond, putting it into a ring, I
Yeah.
suppose, like putting it with
Cool.
something so that you're not just handing someone a jewel, right? Anyway,
Here's a
they
diamond.
cut, here's a diamond, take this. No, like put it into a piece of jewelry to
Yeah.
then make someone buy it. So then, yes, and they would cut conspicuous gems to erase their identity and then blithely intermix stolen and honest
That's so
merchandise. So
cool.
kind of like washing it through,
I love
right?
this.
The best jewel thieves were aristocrats. Oh my God. Everybody, everybody
Everybody
wants to
wants to
be a cat.
be a cat.
We're aristocrats atop
Were they?
a
You got cats on the
I
mind, the Panther?
don't know. Here, yeah, I know. Here we are smearing cats yet again, three
Yet
weeks in a row, or
again.
however
We
many
like
weeks in a
cats,
row.
everyone.
We do. We love cats on this podcast, just not today, apparently, and last week. So, yes, I'm just going to start that whole sentence over. The best jewel thieves were aristocrats atop a
Mm,
three-tiered class structure. At its
okay.
bottom was an army of lowly criminals who committed perhaps 80% of all jewel thefts,
Not
but
so
did so
lowly.
in crude, but did so in crude, often clueless ways. So they weren't really good at their job. They
Oh,
left a
okay.
lot of tracks or a lot of crumbs. Sandwiched between these aristocrats and the 80% of like the lowly kind of everyday man jewel thieves
Mm,
were about 4,000 skilled professionals who, like the aristocrats, left unwanted items untouched and promptly disposed of their booty, as the
mm.
author writes. So basically, what this excerpt from this magazine article shows is that in the 1960s, jewel heists were all the rage, may I say. They were quite popular
Oh,
crimes
yes.
among people of all levels of the income bracket. And because of that, they were really captivating the public. Everyone was paying attention to them because they were constantly in the news,
Hmm.
constantly being found out about, like I said, every 32 seconds on average, apparently, in
That's
the
so
year
insane.
1963. And they, I guess, had this kind of like air of sexiness and like a cosmopolitan flair,
Yeah.
right? Because it's like, ooh, New York, big museums, people all over the world and from different
Well,
countries trying to
and
deal
with
in these
it
fabulous
being,
gems.
like you said,
Mhm.
something that's in really high demand, so it's already
Yeah,
like in people's minds uplifted as like a rare thing,
exactly.
and thus that adds to like the allure of it.
Yes, the allure, that's the perfect word for it. It's in vogue, right? But yes, today that's basically all we're going to talk about for Jewel Heist because
Mm,
that's not really the road that the Pink Panther media franchise really goes down, at least not in the terms of it becoming a cartoon that we would be talking about on this
yes.
podcast. But I thought, hey, since the name and the whole media franchise originated around a diamond, let's talk about Grace's favorite thing,
Yes.
Jewel Heists, at least briefly. So there's my little
Yes,
spiel
thank
on
you. Thank you
that.
for doing that for me personally.
Just literally just for you. I have no
It
interest
brought
in
joy.
anything. So The Pink Panther we'll be talking about today is obviously from the 1993 animated television series starring the Pink Panther that we know and associate the name with, that
Yes.
hip pink feline. And interestingly enough, Pink Panther, who we'll call him, which also I think that like oftentimes they just say his first name is Pink. So like throughout my
Oh
script,
yeah.
I just
You
call
might
him
say
Pink, which
Pink.
I think is
Great.
adorable and
Yes.
fitting. So Pink, the character, actually barely appears in the first few movies. And he's
Mm.
only seen in the title sequence and like the opening and closing credits of the first and fourth film.
Okay.
So
Which
he
have to
wasn't
do with the
actually
Pink Panther,
the
so that makes
diamond,
sense.
exactly. So he was just named. He was a personification or an anthropomorphization, I don't know,
Yeah, of
of
like the
the
diamond.
diamond.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't actually a character. He was just this kind of fun little cartoon that they put into the credits and the opening titles.
Yeah.
Um, except eventually the character got super popular. Like the little animation was really popular and became so closely linked to the film series that they started putting him in like more of the movies as a little like
Oh,
cartoon
cool.
character and like popping up and stuff. And eventually it led to a spin-off series of animated shorts, television cartoons, and of course other merchandise to capitalize on,
Yep.
to the point where in total to this day the character has starred, the Pink Panther, the feline character, has
Uh-huh.
starred in 124 short films,
Oh my
four
God.
separate TV series, and four separate TV specials.
Whoa. He's a
So
star, kid.
he's a star.
Shining bright like those
He's
diamonds.
everywhere. So the 1993 iteration or like incarnation of the Pink Panther, which is the one we're talking about
Uh-huh.
today, of course, stars the legendary pink feline on a series of adventures or misadventures, sometimes kind of loosely involving mysteries and crimes, but other times, like in today's episodes, just like getting into shenanigans.
Uh-huh.
And as one of the last kind of like fun facts about this iteration of the show, the 1993 one in particular, is that it's
Hmm.
really the only time, or at least it was the first time in the entire Pink Panther franchise, like the whole media franchise,
Uh-huh.
where Pink actually
He speaks.
talks.
Yep.
Exactly. In all other shows or like appearances, he's silent. He maybe has one or two lines here or there, but he doesn't talk. Like he's just kind of hopping around, goofing around on screen. That's
Yeah.
it.
That's how
And
sly
it's
he
in,
is. It's
he's
part of
so
his
sly.
allure.
It is. It's kind of what makes him like, good at being a spy or whatever, or helping
Yeah.
out the inspector. So basically though, in this iteration in the 1993 series, they gave Pink like this very kind of just like a calm, smooth American accent. Like he just talks
Uh-huh.
like this and is kind of like, he's a little sly with his words and a little witty, but otherwise he's just hanging out. I'm just Pink
Uh-huh.
Panther, living life. What do you want
Uh-huh.
me to do? And this was really different from the original voice, which was like a very sophisticated British accent that he had
Yeah,
when he talked
I
in, that
that's
was
what I
probably more Scottish than
picture
British. But yeah,
when I
exactly.
think
So
of his
when
voice because
I,
I was like, he doesn't really talk. But then I was like, oh, but I
mm-mm,
remember him talking in this series, but I thought, yeah, it was
yeah,
like, yeah, either like very posh or like
yeah,
French, which I guess is
same.
because
And I
Inspector
couldn't,
Cousteau.
is French, exactly. And at first I couldn't remember. Like I put a little asterisk, like, was it French or British? Look this up before
Mhm.
she finished. So I had to double check, but it was British
Yep.
because in my brain, again, maybe Mandela effect type shit.
Yeah, I
I
think
thought it was
it
kind of like a
is.
more French accent too. But again, yeah, I think it's because of Inspector Clouseau. So, but basically, though, in this show, they're like, let's just like make him talk like a cool, kind of like chill,
Yeah.
goofy
Cool cat.
American dude, because that's what American kids are gonna like, a cool
Yeah, sure.
cat. Exactly. So, this show, though, it ran for two seasons from September 13th, 1993 to April 12th, 1995. And in it, I guess, just for shits and giggles to talk about some of the voice cast here, I'm
Oh,
not really
yes.
familiar with the name of this guy, Matt Brewer. He is
Okay.
who voices Pink Panther. And at first I was like, okay, that's cool. But then I clicked on his Wikipedia page and he's actually like in a ton of stuff that I've seen that you've probably also seen. He
Oh.
was in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. He was in the movie Watchmen, which was a comic
Oh,
book movie that came up, but like really good movie.
yeah.
Dawn of the Dead, one of my favorite zombie
Oh, so he's not
movies.
just a voice actor. He's like
No,
also
he's like an
does the
actual
other side.
actor. Yes, and then also
Oh,
he was in the Third Night at the Museum movie too, Secret of the Tomb. So I
okay.
was like, okay, but the most
You
important
go.
thing about this guy, I will say, and this was what impressed me the most and made me have to put this in here, is
Yeah.
that he was born on January 4th,
Oh my
1958. So I
God.
was like, oh, hey, well, so he's just amazing. So
Oh
that's
my
cool.
God. So we know
Yeah,
he's perfect,
Capricorns
amazing, beautiful, smart,
could do no harm.
powerful.
That's probably one of the three greatest people living on this planet, maybe.
Yeah.
So, anyways, just some other random fun guest appearances that I saw on the
Yes.
Wikipedia page for this show are none other than our boy Jim Cummings, of
Obviously.
course, Dan Castellaneta, aka like Homer Simpson,
Oh,
and so many others, of
yeah.
course, Keith David, amazing, of course, and Nancy
Wow.
Cartwright, who was
Oh,
Bart
they're just
Simpson
they
and
got the whole
Chucky,
Simpson crew
the whole
over.
cast. I want to say Jennifer Hale was also on that
I'm
list, which got me
sure.
excited when you mentioned her in your last episode. I didn't, there were so many others. I was like, I'll
Yeah.
just say these ones, but I should have added her. I wish she was because that,
Who,
like, when you mentioned her last week.
what
Yeah.
network was this on again? Or like who owns it?
Um, oh, good. It was Warner. That's a
Oh,
great
okay.
question. Yeah, so I
Yeah, this
actually
feels like
don't
Warner
know what
Brothers.
yeah, but I don't know what channel it came on because now it's all like just for free on YouTube. So that's
Right.
just where I watched it. Um, yeah, good question because I probably should have looked
Yeah,
that
we'll
up
put it in the show
too,
notes.
but
We always say who it's
yeah,
from. We'll
and I'm
figure it out
like
later.
casually looking now as I
So
stall.
sorry.
I think no, that's okay because
Well, just because you had like the
honestly,
Jim Cummings crossover then with like Simpsons
yeah.
people, which is why I was like, wait, Disney?
Yeah.
Fox? What's
It
happening?
says it's MGM animation, but this is
Oh, okay.
interesting. MGM television, but it doesn't actually say a specific channel that it came on. I'm like
Interesting.
skimming very quickly, but I did read through this and it just struck me that that I don't
That's
know.
okay.
Because even when I read through it before, as I was like
Like
researching
nothing
for
stood
this,
out.
nothing stood out. So yeah, I have no idea
Okay,
where
that's fine.
this show was, but now it's on YouTube if people want to
Great.
watch it. So, yes, and that's hey, good transition because that's exactly where we're going to get to today's
Nice. Good, good,
Thanksgiving
good.
story. And
I
of
forgot this
course,
is
the
about Thanksgiving.
episode, right? That's the other reason I was like, I won't talk about Jewel Heist for too long because, like, the episode's not at all about that. It's about a Thanksgiving thing.
Forgot.
So, the episode is called Pilgrim Panther.
Okay.
And this came out, yeah, like super clever, right? It came out on September 20th, 1993, and it's from season one, episode 10 of this show.
Okay.
So I guess I'll also say there are other characters in Pink Panther. I'm not really going to get into them because for the sake of this episode, it's not worth it. But
Yeah.
basically, this Thanksgiving themed episode just takes all of the main characters and like rewrites them as like pilgrims
Oh,
and like Native
oh, funny.
Americans
Okay.
and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, basically just keep that in mind as you're watching it, I guess.
Great.
But in this episode, it's Thanksgiving morning and we're in some pilgrim colony. I guess we can assume Plymouth, right? And Pink is working away in ye old kitchen,
Is he in a
prepping for the
pilgrim fit?
harvest feast. He's got a chef hat on. I think he is in a pilgrim fit. Everyone's just wearing pilgrim clothes, but I think he also has like maybe like an apron or a chef hat on or
Okay. He's
something
like,
like that because he's
I'm the chef.
cooking. Exactly, but
Yes,
you can tell
chef.
he's a pilgrim. Yes, chef. So he's busy in the kitchen slicing up a bunch of potatoes with great skill to the point of which he's like creating full potato sculptures, if you will, of
Okay.
these potatoes. And one of the characters who's kind of like an antagonist in the show, his name is Big Nose. He's just a little guy with a very big
Okay.
pointy nose. That's all
There's being
that's
literal.
it. That's Big Nose. So he walks into the kitchen and he is also in like full pilgrim garb with
Uh-huh.
like the brown bowl cut, kind of coming from underneath
Yes.
his little
The
pilgrim hat.
sharp line.
Sharp line, like a bowl cut, literally put the bowl
The
on, cut
bowl.
it.
The definition.
Yes. So he walks into the kitchen and he's asking Pink what's on the menu for tonight's feast.
Okay.
And Pink tells him, like, he's very excited to walk him through the menu. And he tells them that they will be enjoying a variety of, you guessed it, potatoes for dinner
Mhm.
tonight. They'll start the evening with a nice potato salad, and then they will move on to a course of potato hors d'oeuvres, and they will
Uh-huh.
complete their meal with a beautiful nice boiled potato.
Wow. I'd hate to fucking be a pilgrim. I mean, I love potatoes, but like
But like they're not everything.
this
They're
is
a
just such
side
this
dish.
is such a reminder moment when people are like, I was born in the wrong decade. I'm like, were you? Tell me about this
Were
frozen
you?
pizza you just heated up, huh?
Exactly. Tell me about those nice hot dogs that you just like ate,
Yeah.
Tell me about that steak that you just prepped
Tell me
for
about
yourself.
DoorDash. Okay.
Yeah. Tell me about the cell phone that you currently have in your hand and cannot put
That you're
down.
ordering DoorDash from.
Yes. And I said Big Nose is kind of an antagonist, but in this
Yeah.
moment, I agree with him. And you will too, because you just said he is less than thrilled about this menu. He hears this and he's like, yeah, no, 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 no. We're not going to just eat potatoes. We are much
Yeah.
better than just a bunch of potato eaters. We did not journey all the way to the new
For
world
fucking potatoes.
for potatoes as a full-on meal, a three-course potato meal. And he tells Pink that the holiday is about a lot more than just that. But he also tells Pink that he has heard word, kind of out on the grapevine. They're new to this whole
Mhm.
harvest type thing here in the Plymouth colony. He tells Pink that these delicious wild turkey things he's been hearing about are all the
Oh,
rave and they're all the craze now. It's what everyone wants to eat.
okay.
And so he tells
Turkeys,
Pink
they're
that
so hot right now.
they're hot right now. They're in. And so he tells Pink that he'd better serve the pilgrims some turkey this year for dinner or else. And obviously, he says this in a pretty threatening way that
Yeah.
raises some clear anxieties in Pink. But really, it's clear that Big Nose, he just, they're just trying to keep up with the Joneses. He's like, the other colony, they had turkey last year. I want turkey this
I
year
want
too.
it.
You better get us some turkey, Pink.
Yep.
So Pink, he gets to it though, because he feels the threats, obviously. Apparently Big Nose has followed through on threats in the past because to
Yep.
me, I'm like,
Checks.
what are you gonna do, little boy with a big nose
Also,
and a
you
bowl
go
cut?
get
What are
it
you gonna
then.
do? Yeah, you go get it if it's so good. But no, Pink, he gets right to it. He leaves
Okay.
the kitchen. He heads out into the woods to find himself a turkey that will save him from whatever torturous death at the hands of the pilgrims
Yeah.
would otherwise await him. Honestly, he's probably like, damn, they need protein. And I am
Yeah,
the
they
only
need
non-human protein source.
they've been eyeing me from the second I stepped foot on that boat.
Yeah. So there's one small unfortunate detail here, though.
Okay.
Pink, not only is he not familiar with hunting at all, he's an in the kitchen kind of guy. He preps
He's
the
an
food. He
indoor cat,
doesn't find the food.
not an outdoor
Exactly.
cat.
He's an indoor panther. So not only is he not familiar with turkey or with hunting, but he's also not familiar at all with turkeys. Again, these pilgrims are new to all of this.
Yeah.
The big nose guy, he's only heard of the turkey. He's never actually
Mm.
seen one. So Pink has no idea what turkeys look like,
Oh
where
no.
to find them, or how they even sound. So he's kind of just like bumbling through the woods,
Great.
reading through a basically like turkey hunting for dummies
Okay.
guidebook as
Great.
he's like trying to figure out what to do here. But it kind of puts him at an immediate disadvantage, right? Because he
Yes.
he doesn't know what he's doing. And so, meanwhile, while he's flipping through these pages, kind of just like strolling through the woods, trying to maybe start hunting,
Hmm.
we also see a nearby tribe of American Indians, Native Americans, preparing for, I guess, their harvest dinner as well.
Hmm.
But I guess actually maybe it's uh a bit generous maybe to describe what they're doing as preparing for the harvest dinner
Okay.
because what we see rather is like a large very muscular native man whose name is Two Feathers, I believe, which
Hmm.
that's the only name I'll give during this episode.
Oh
It's not
no.
the most culturally sensitive
Every
episode, so we'll just,
time, every single cartoon that like has this exact setup, there's always like a pit in my
yeah.
stomach of just like, okay,
Oh God, where's it gonna
all right,
go?
all right, what are
Yeah,
they gonna do? How are they gonna depict?
yeah.
All
I
right.
mean, to be fair, the other names could be probably more offensive, but
But
that's
they
a
were
low bar,
great.
so
Still,
we're just
yeah,
gonna so we'll just talk about Two Feathers and
great.
everyone else
Okay.
I'll just leave nameless. So Yes. Anyway, Two Feathers is like flexing his muscles in front of a young woman, a young native woman,
Uh-huh.
really trying to impress her with his big, strong body and show off, like, aren't you impressed by like how strong I am and how much
Uh-huh.
I could be a great hunter, etc. But the young woman, she's just kind of brushing her hair and she like
Damn.
yawns him off, like, whatever. And her interest is instead redirected towards a much smaller, stout little man with a
Okay.
massive, like, warrior's headdress on,
Oh, okay.
adorned with the largest turkey feathers known to the tribe. And this thing is huge.
Ooh.
It's basically as big as the little guy wearing it, which, hey,
Okay.
go off. We love a short king. Good for you,
Yes,
boy.
exactly.
So the headdress impresses this young woman who immediately just swoons over this stout little guy
Okay.
wearing it, asking him about how brave and how strong he must be to be in possession of so many large feathers and such a
Mm.
massive headdress, which is true, actually, given many
Yeah.
native cultures that the headdress is a sign of your skill as a warrior and a hunter. So, yeah, little guy wearing a big
Okay.
headdress, pretty impressive, not gonna say. So the stout dude, though, he is not as impressed. He's a little put off by the young woman's advances, who's
Mm.
like holding him, grabbing him, assaulting him quite a bit. Honestly, he's not like really reciprocating her
Oh,
feelings.
90s.
Yeah, so 90s. Hey, it goes both ways. Okay.
Exactly. The
You
90s,
know, they were
though, they're
equal
like,
opportunity
yeah,
showing
exactly.
assault. So this poor guy, though, he's just too small, quite frankly, to pull himself away from the young woman who's just like all over him.
Uh-huh.
And the more muscular, larger guy, Two Feathers, he sees this obviously from the other side of like the I guess you don't call it not the tribe, whatever, from their colony. It's not a colony, but he's on the other side of the area, damn it, and he
Yeah,
sees this
like the
from
area that
across.
they're living, like their neighborhood,
Yeah, their neighborhood. That's yeah. What do you call it? I feel
their
like the word is on the
town.
tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
Yes, their town, whatever. Anyways, so he sees this and he's really just like defeated and deflated, and his ego immediately goes on life support. He's like, "Wow, okay, so the muscles are not doing it for her. I get it." And he takes off his headdress and kind of looks at it, and
Oh
it's
my God,
just like
he's so
he gets his
sad.
name Two Feathers for a reason because his old little headdress, it's just got these two little measly, withering, like half like ripped apart little feathers, turkey feathers on it, which
Oh
is
no.
a great metaphor, if you will, because he looks at it and he's like, oh man, I need some bigger feathers, I guess. Time for me to go out and hunt down a turkey so that I
Well,
can
that's
make a
very
new
funny.
headdress. Yes.
Uh-huh.
And so he goes off into the woods to find a turkey so that he
Hmm.
can now make a new headdress and impress this young woman. And eventually we see Pink again, still stumbling and bumbling through the woods, reading through this for dummies guidebook on how to find a wild turkey. And he eventually does stumble upon one and he like, is double checking the
Okay.
book to be like, is this a turkey? Yep, it's okay. Boom. That is a turkey. Look at that. And he starts to catch it for dinner. But, and it's funny that you mentioned something you said before about like, God, whenever episodes do this exact same plot, I always worry. And it's funny because literally from here on out, the plot is basically identical to my episode of Huckleberry Hound from last Thanksgiving.
Yes, honestly, I love the
Literally.
trope. I just,
Yeah.
I only worry about the depictions, but the plot
The
line, let's
depiction
do
is never
it.
great. Yeah, but the plot line, that's fine. And that's why I was like, oh, Grace will enjoy this. She enjoyed it last year. We'll just leave out all names of Native Americans
Yes.
because we don't want to cross that
Yeah,
bridge.
we'll try to be
But
sensitive about what pictures we show from
yeah,
the show. Hopefully, not too bad.
yes. Yeah, I mean the physical depiction not terrible. It's just
Okay.
again a couple of the names they chose. I was like, we're not going to add that in.
Yeah, great, great.
So, yeah, but much like my episode of Huckleberry Hound from last Thanksgiving, we quickly find out that the turkey here today is quite a fucking trickster. This little dude, he has some tricks up his sleeves. So,
Hell
before
yeah.
Pink is able to shoot him, the turkey somehow convinces him to like put his gun down, and like tries to make a little deal,
Is he like
but then eventually
mimicking the
just runs
turkey
away.
or is he talking? He's just kind of like
No,
gesturing.
No, 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 he's talking. So, and okay, that's the difference from Huckleberry Hound is in this case, the turkey fully speaks English and is like
Oh,
communicating. Yeah, so
okay.
we
Like,
actually
whoa,
hear
man. Whoa,
him.
whoa, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa,
like that's like
whoa,
literally what he says, I think, at one point. He's like, whoa, 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 man, come on. Like, hey, like he's a smooth talker. He's honestly smoother
whoa.
talking than Pink is, which I'm
Oh,
like,
that is match.
okay, yes. So basically, again, much like my episode of Huckleberry Hound from last Thanksgiving, Pink and the turkey, they start chasing each other and then they run into two feathers, the Native American
Mm,
man who is also out hunting a turkey, but for the feathers more so than for the turkey meat. I
okay.
guess they'll use both, but
Yeah.
he wants the
But he's
feathers.
got to go.
Exactly. So, seeing that the wild turkey is the perfect size for the man's head, and the feathers are the perfect length and size to impress his hopefully soon to be boo thang, two feathers also, of course, joins in on this chase and
Yeah.
this hunt for the turkey. And it kind of immediately proves to be like a bit of a pain in the side for Pink, who already doesn't know what he's doing and now has to compete with this Native American man who literally lives off the land and knows how to
Yes.
hunt. So notice how I did only say that this is a pain in the side for Pink, though, and not for
Uh,
Pink and the turkey.
yeah.
Because, yes, again, like our turkey from last year, this turkey is just too clever for these two men, and he is able to quickly get the best of Pink and Two Feathers.
Okay.
Which at this point, I'm like, why is this a trope in old cartoons where turkeys are these like actually very cunning, intelligent, wily, but clever, goofy tricksters?
Who
Is that like a common thing?
was it Thomas Jefferson who wanted to make the turkey our
And
national
we talked
bird?
about this last year too, and we still haven't looked it up. I think you said Ben Franklin last year. I can't remember. It was one of them.
One of them. I feel like Thomas Jefferson maybe makes more sense. I
Yeah,
don't fucking know. But either way, the writers were clearly on the same page as him. They were like,
they
this
were.
is propaganda to petition the US government to change our national bird.
Exactly.
Look how
These birds are
clever,
clever. Because
resourceful,
remember
smart.
last year, that's when we talked about the gangs of New York style turkeys that
In my neighborhood.
take over your
Oh, it's
neighborhood.
fucking
We're
here.
like, damn, are they actually more clever and cunning than we thought? Which, so apparently, this is just going to be a recurring question that we ask
We'll
here on
never
Saturday
answer.
Morning Mysteries every Thanksgiving season is, folks, tell us, are turkeys actually as clever and sly and
You know what?
witty,
I
wily as these
I
cartoons
will
make them to be?
say,
I wouldn't put it past them, you
I
know?
will say that like we Justin does a really good turkey call. And
Oh,
so
oh
like
no, that can be used and abused.
well, so like he does a really good one and yeah, we'll go out to our yard and when we see him, he'll like turkey call, they'll call back and then he'll do another one and then they'll be like, "No, bitch, we know who you are." And like
Oh shit.
suss him out
They
so
know.
quick and like they're like, we're not coming over there. I don't fucking think so."
You
They,
see, or I
I
feel
mean, they
like it could get
survived.
dangerous where they're like, you trying to impersonate us?
I
Really?
always think he's
Oh,
gonna get in a
maybe we
fight.
should take some. Yeah, like watch
Because
out,
we've had
man. Like we might
times,
need to take care of you.
we've fully had
Take
times where there will be
care.
like multiple males fully puffed up like in our front yard, like clearly like
In
about to
defensive
throw
mode.
down. Yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
like, Justin, stay inside.
Yeah.
You're not part of this.
Get inside, Justin. Get back. You have to protect
Justin,
them.
I'm afraid for you, Justin. You're gonna say something wrong.
Please
You're gonna
don't do
accidentally
anything.
insult
I
them
don't.
in their language.
You're not going to hurt the turkeys. The turkeys are really going to hurt you. Please
Yeah,
stay inside,
exactly.
Justin.
Yeah, I mean, when we're walking and I see some turkeys, especially the males with my
You
dogs, I'm
turn
like, we're
around. You
crossing the
go the other
street.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Uh-uh.
like, I got big dogs and I don't want to fuck with this thing.
In the battle of turkey and geese, man. Oof, who
Oh,
wins? I would hmm.
I don't
Put it in
know.
the comments, throw down who wins this competition. I
Yeah.
my money is gonna
Like
maybe be
cage
on
match
turkeys, but
style.
geese,
So one couldn't
yeah.
fly away because the goose could just fly away, but like
The good
cage
exactly,
match.
but if it right, right, good point. So I'd be intrigued. I
I
would
feel like turkey's
not
got
pay
talons.
money to watch that
No,
display
no, I would pay money so I
of
didn't have to see it.
yeah, yeah, but I am interested in what the results would
I think
be.
turkeys, they got
Yeah,
talons.
that's
They
true.
do already fight each other.
Yeah, I mean geese do too,
Yeah,
but you're
that's
right. They
true.
more there, but I don't think
They're more
Yeah.
dinosaur-esque to me, turkeys.
Yeah, I feel
They're a
you're
little
right. I think
scarier.
turkeys have more defensive like mechanisms with, like you said, the turkeys' teeth.
Yeah, and they just seem
Hmm.
scarier.
Yeah, they do. I don't know if they're bigger. No, they definitely get bigger than geese. There's some pretty
Yeah,
freaking
big
big
time.
geese, but yeah, I just feel like geese are so feral. Like they would be up for the challenge,
They would be
but
dirty fighters. Like
yeah,
I feel
that
like it
might be
would
the
take a
only
lot.
time.
It'd be a long fight.
Yeah, it would be. It would be drawn
Like
out
the
because even
goose
if it
would
is a
like
cage, the goose could still like flutter around to get away
exactly.
from the turkey, which
It
would
would
buy
be
it some time
like
to like
the
heal and,
goose
HP
really
points
looks
going back up.
yeah, the goose looks really fucked up, but still keeps getting up, type of thing. And
Yes,
like the turkey's
exactly.
like, he's still not
He
done yet.
won't stay
Jesus.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it becomes a battle of attrition, right? Like who can just
Yes.
outstand the other until,
Yes. The
So,
goose just like barely some
yeah.
feathers on those, like just covered in blood at this
Just like
point,
blood and
spitting out
scratches
a
and
tooth.
still like Captain America mode. I could do this all day.
I got it,
Yeah.
motherfucker. Yeah.
Spits out a little blood and shit.
Exactly.
Flutters around to buy some more time while the turkey is just like getting dizzy from watching the goose
Yeah, just
flutter
watching him go round and
around.
round.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn. All right. That actually just
Interesting. This
ups
could be
the
quite a matchup.
ante.
Yeah, I'd be
Yeah.
interested. Hey, drop in the
Awesome.
comments what you think. Who would win in the battle? But
Yeah, in our annual
anyways,
Thanksgiving bracket of animal
yeah.
fights, turkey
That
versus
like
what
carries
animal?
that like
Goose.
carries into the Christmas season too, because it's like goose for dinner on Christmas or
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know. Yeah. So it's like a whole holiday poultry,
Holiday
or I guess not poultry, but bird bracket.
bird
Yeah.
bracket, bird
The
fight.
bird bracket.
Our
Did we
Alexis
just
bird
come up
versus
with an
turkey.
idea?
Are we
The
famous?
holiday bird bracket? Did we just
Yes.
come up with a fun idea?
How many turtle
Anyways,
doves?
yeah.
A partridge in a pear tree
A
versus
partridge in a
turkey?
pear tree. Yeah, a turkey.
Wait a
Hmm.
second.
Interesting.
Interesting.
So wait, yeah. How many turtle doves is it? No. Five going, four turtle doves, three
Yep,
French
four
hens. So
turtle
imagine
doves.
who wins?
Three
Four
French
turtle doves
hens.
or one Thanksgiving turkey?
Three French hens or four turtle doves.
Or one
Hens
partridge
are
in a pear tree? Which
within
how
the
many
12 days of
geese?
Christmas. That could be hard. I think a turkey could take all of them, but within the
I do
12 days
too.
of Christmas, who matches up with the turkey? I don't know.
Because a goose is one of them too. Right. Gosh, now we're going
But
through.
yeah,
Okay,
goose
you know
has
what?
like goose eggs or
We'll put a
something.
pin in this. Yeah, how many goose eggs? See, because now I want to Google all the 12 days. Okay, we're gonna put a pin in this.
There's so many
We
birds
are
in the
gonna
12 days of
come.
Christmas.
There are, and we're gonna come back to this in our holiday arc and our
Yes,
Christmas
Alexis
arc.
is
I
going
am
to do
committed to it
research.
now. I am because I almost need to write a note to myself to remember to do this. I'll remember when I'm editing the audio for this, but anyways, back to our
We'll get
Pilgrim
back to you.
episode.
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
I'm glad that we just had this tangent though, because the episode is almost over because it's yet again like another like 10-minute episode. But
Great.
anyways, so we see the classic montage of Pink and Two Feathers going through all of these various traps that they're setting to try to catch
Mm,
this turkey for their various purposes, trying to one up each other in their hunt for the turkey, only for this wily, clever, too intelligent for their own good turkey to
hmm
outsmart these two at every turn and trap the hunters essentially in their own traps each time. And eventually, through all of these failed hunting attempts, Pink is getting a little exacerbated here and getting a little nervous about his odds and how it's looking like
Yeah.
he's not getting ready to bring a turkey back. And at that exact moment, Big Nose comes out to the woods to check in on Pink and
Oh,
see how the hunt for the turkey is going. Because I
now
guess they're getting a little
well.
hungry. They're like, hey, how's
Like,
that
this is
whole
gonna have
thing
to sit in the
going? What are
oven for a
we
few hours.
Yeah, and you still need to like skin it, get the feathers off, clean it,
Yeah.
drain it, etc. How we doing?
What
And he
brine are
sees
you gonna
that,
put on this thing? Where
yeah,
you at?
asking about the seasoning. We have a few food allergies that we want the chef to be aware of. So making sure everything is coming along well. And he sees that it's not because Pink is empty-handed and still looks like he has no idea what he's doing out there hunting in these
Mhm.
woods. So at this point, Big Nose reminds Pink that there will be grave consequences for him if there is not a terrific dinner produced for the harvest feast tonight. And then at this point, Pink's like, okay, well, look, in hindsight, Two Feathers and I are kind of wasting a lot of time here. Like
Yeah.
he wants feathers, I want meat. We're kind of just sabotaging each other's
Yeah.
hunts for really no good reason at this point. Like we're really just wasting time. So he decides to do the very Thanksgiving thing of making a deal with the Native American man with two feathers.
Mm.
And he tells him that, like, look, whoever wins, it's not the kind of deal that you would hope for, but
No.
whatever. He tells him that whoever wins a set of athletic challenges gets
Oh,
the turkey.
there's going to join forces so that they could kill it
Yeah.
together. Then one gets the feathers, one gets the meat. Okay, great.
That's
No,
what I was trying to build it up to because as I was watching, I was like, oh, I see where this is going. This is perfect for
it's not
Thanksgiving.
at all.
No, that's not where it's going. Instead, Pink is like, all right, put on some shorts, put on your tank top, get your
Fucking
headband.
go.
We're going to do a challenge of brawn, which
Well,
also
the most
doesn't seem like a
American thing
good
ever.
idea. So
Right. Pink is so
American.
spindly.
He's like a tall, thin cat versus this tall, very muscular, obviously lives off the land, hunter-gatherer, Native
Yeah.
American man. Like, yes, let's do
Okay,
this.
Pink.
But it actually works well for Pink because, while Two Feathers, he's in great shape, he's super muscular, he doesn't really know like pilgrim exercises and,
Into
athletic
calisthenics
events.
and shit.
Yeah, because literally that's what they start doing, like jump roping and
Oh my God.
hopscotch and like elliptical machines and stuff like that. Like random stuff that this Native American guy has no clue
Yeah,
what it is. This is the first time he's ever seeing it. But eventually, the last challenge, and I should say, Pink wins all of these challenges,
of
obviously,
course.
because he knows what they
It's
are.
pretty much
He's setting the
rigged.
terms here.
Okay.
But the fourth one, it is super rigged, much like those dog shows that we talked
Yeah.
about last week. More athletic challenges being rigged and
Yep, yep.
whatnot for the gamblers on the line. So, yeah, the fourth challenge, though, this is one that Two Feathers actually feels a little confident about. It's arm wrestling. And so
Oh,
at this
oh
point, he's
no.
like, I've got this. Not only is my arm bigger than your entire body, Pink, but
Yeah.
this is one that I actually know. So, just before the arm wrestling can really get underway, or I guess they actually get started, it's like right as they're starting to kind
Hmm.
of like go against each other. We hear from the sidelines of all of this cheering, actually. And
Okay.
Pink and Two Feathers look over and they see that it's the freaking turkey lounging nearby on like a lawn chair, sipping on some sweet tea and eating
Ah,
like hot dogs, just rooting on the athletic spectacle. Like, all right, Pink, you got this. You got this. I
because
want you to win.
there's no chance you'll get me.
Exactly. And so at this point, the man in pink look at each other and they're like, wait, yeah, what the fuck are we doing? This turkey is just like living, he's
Just
reveling in our
mocking
downfall here.
us.
So again, much like my episode of Huckleberry Hound from last year, the two of them run up to this turkey and grab it very violently by the neck.
Oh no.
Both of them, like, all right, well, now that we see that you're just here lounging, enjoying your life, I guess we'll just share
End it.
you. How
We'll
about
just end
that?
your life. Okay.
But before the turkey has a second to really plead with them one last time and beg for mercy, Pink notices the hot dog sitting in the turkey's mouth. And he sees it and he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. What's that thing you're eating? I've never seen one
Uh-huh.
of those before. That looks pretty tasty. And the turkey, he takes the hot dog out of his mouth and he's like, it's a hot dog. You want to try it? And Pink takes a bite and he absolutely loves it.
This is such an all-American story now.
All American. And thus, my friends, the hot dog was born. So he asks the turkey where he got this thing from. And the turkey points just over nearby to a nearby hot dog stand that
What?
happens to offer catering for harvest feasts.
What? Fuck.
Yes. So
Who's running
Pink
it?
is like,
Turkeys?
I don't know. So
There's no one
I
staffing it yet.
believe there's no one staffing it, but I believe it's run by Native American people. You'll
Okay.
see it when you see it. It's another name
Okay.
that we're just going to skip over and keep it
Okay.
moving.
Great. Great.
So Pink at this point sees it though, and he's like, "Oh, well, that's super convenient. They cater too, so I'm just gonna actually have them cater for
Just
the
gonna
fest. This
hire
is
them.
like a win-win,
The birth of capitalism in America.
just like that."
Wow.
Yes.
Amazing. The first transaction.
And at this point, he realizes how stupid this whole debacle has been. Him and Two Feathers hunting
Yeah.
for this turkey and fighting each other all day. So now he puts on the real Thanksgiving spirit and he invites Two Feathers to join him and the rest of the pilgrims tonight for their harvest feast. And also tells Two Feathers that he can bring a guest with him.
Just one.
Just
Yeah.
one, yes. And so that evening, the pilgrims, they're all chowing down on this delicious hot dog harvest feast, very much enjoying the food and complimenting Pink on a meal well prepared. Big Nose is very pleased and very happy with the spread. And Two Feathers, meanwhile, is sitting at the other end of the table, and he's got on a mighty fine looking turkey feather headdress. This thing is massive. And
Oh,
of course, with his nice new headdress, yeah, I know, right? Like, oh, well,
so
so
he
that
kept his
was
hand
an
on that neck when
Mhm.
Pink let
And he
go.
snapped a bit, I suppose.
Real quick, okay.
And the headdress is working because joined by Two Feathers. Yes, his
Ooh,
guest of honor is that nice young boo thing, that young woman that he was trying to impress
dang.
before, that Native
Worked.
American woman. Oh, yeah, things are going well. It worked because she's all over him. She is loving this headdress, complimenting him for his strength and how good he looks with all the
Wow.
feathers on it.
Damn.
But we then see the turkey pop his
Oh,
head up from behind Two Feathers and looks at Pink, thanking him essentially for not eating him, not killing
uh-huh.
him, and saying, hey, I guess it's nice to have a warm home instead of being a warm meal, proving that basically
True.
the turkey is just sitting on Two Feathers' head. He wasn't actually killed. He's
Oh
just
my
kind
God.
of
Yeah, yeah.
hiding and pretending to be a headdress so that Two Feathers can
Okay,
get
so
this
his
little
butt's just on
hookup
his head.
tonight. And yeah, yeah, also, ew, just a turkey butt on your head as you're eating
I
dinner
thought you were gonna
too.
say that like the
Like,
turkey was just like fully plucked of feathers, not that it was.
no, no, which would also be hilarious and would, I guess, be fine. Maybe like it would grow them back, but nope. In this case, just
Well,
the turkey living totally intact on Two Feathers' head as he enjoys this
so
dinner, just
funny.
trying to help him get this hookup for tonight. And then, who
He's
knows
just a
what'll happen
wingman,
tomorrow after he's just
literally.
his literal wingman. So, the end.
Wow.
That's it.
Wow. How did
Yeah.
you even find this episode? I've like had to look at so many
Hmm.
random lists to like find Thanksgiving episodes. I don't think I've ever come across this one.
Yeah, I think there's a Wikipedia page of like for every Halloween or every holiday special that
Mm,
exists for a show, you can just kind of Google
yeah,
like
maybe I just missed this one
Halloween
on it.
specials. And I think that the one that I found for Halloween is more specific because like
Yes.
cartoons do Halloween and like Christmas episodes way more often than
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. So I think for Thanksgiving, I had to look up like Thanksgiving episodes of anything. And then the Wikipedia page was beautifully separated out by like animated shows, live action
Oh,
sitcoms, TV
yeah.
films, etc. And so then I just scrolled
Found it on
and
there.
found this. And I think that's how I found my Christmas episodes for this year too. So
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
be on the lookout for that. Yeah, the power of Wikipedia, man. Our favorite website, other
truly.
than, well, no, yeah, our favorite website.
Yep. Period. Yep.
So
Wow.
yeah,
Amazing job. Great work.
thank you. Thank you.
That's very
So
fun.
there's an episode of Pink Panther. I don't know if we'll ever cover it on this show because in
Amazing.
hindsight, I don't think it really has that much to do with mystery. I think it's mostly Pink just getting in random shenanigans like
Yeah.
that, which in a way is funny, but also would have been great if they actually had him being like a detective, a la like the original movies.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe I'll watch more episodes and find
Yeah.
out. But
We'll investigate.
we'll see. But I hope that y'all enjoyed the Thanksgiving special,
Yes.
the whole arc, and that you guys have a nice, happy Thanksgiving. And
Yes. Hope you're in the
until
spirit.
then, which I think Thanksgiving is in a few days from now. When does this
Yep.
episode come out? Probably on
The
the
Saturday
23rd.
before Thanksgiving.
Okay,
Ish.
so
Yeah, that
yeah,
sounds right.
perfect, something like that. Yeah. So hopefully you guys are gearing up for the holidays and
Yes.
preparing your turkey brines and whatnot.
Hmm.
And until then, Grace, who should they tell about this podcast?
I think she's just someone who works at a food stand. Could be a hot dog stand,
Hmm.
could
Yeah.
be whatever type of food stand.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, like a local festival, local fair, something like that. Just side of
Hmm.
the road. Let them know they're out there working hard. If you might live somewhere cold, it might be chilly this time of year, so it's extra hard to be out there working and hustling. So tell them to
Hmm.
they save the day here, as they do every time I'm hungry.
Yes,
So
honestly, true.
heroes.
So true.
Tell someone to
They're
pizza stand.
always where
And
you need them when you least expect to see them.
exactly. And who else should they tell?
You should tell, I don't think we've done this. You should tell a hunter. Hmm.
Oh, nice.
Especially if it's someone who hunts for their own turkeys for Thanksgiving. I'm
Yeah,
sure there are some people that do
yeah,
that. Or
most
it's people who
definitely.
hunt for their own food in general.
Yeah,
Because, yeah,
let them know.
cool. Yeah.
Excellent.
And see, I'm sure they're busy right now. It is hunting season, isn't
I
it?
know. Yeah,
So,
they've been gone
yeah.
this whole month.
So if you can catch them, if they're
Yeah.
around, and if you don't feel like waking up at like 5 a.m. or even earlier than that when they do it, just like text one of them if you know them and let them know, check out our
Yes.
podcast. But
Perfect.
yes, until then, we'll be back for our Christmas and winter episodes. And I
Yay.
cannot wait. Grace is probably going to do something else clever and out of left field like she did
No,
for
it's pretty straightforward for
Thanksgiving.
Christmas
So
and
is
winter.
it? All right, cool, good. All right. I don't
Sorry.
know if I trust you, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Cool. Until then,
All right.
bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Saturday Morning Mysteries.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share, rate, review, leave us a like, and drop a comment. We post episodes every Saturday and bonus tune tangents whenever we feel like it. So please subscribe so you don't miss the shenanigans.
And if you want to follow us on YouTube, click the bell under the YouTube subscribe button to receive notifications when new videos are posted.
And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, we have no idea what you're listening to us on. So just hit the big subscribe button on whatever app you're using. We believe in you.
Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at SatmornMist, all the abreves, and let us know if you have any episode or show requests by emailing SaturdayMorningMysteries@gmail.com.
Thanks to Jenna Kendall for the logo design and to Ava Sakiki for the music used during this week's episode.
See y'all groovy kids next week on Saturday Morning Mysteries.